A very good evening, my friends, on the 11th of August 2013, and it's a rainy night here. And it's been a long 20 years that I started using the virtual media, and that was way back on the 11th of August 1997. I, in fact, started virtual media communication because I had a lot of friends and colleagues from the company I was working in, and they were spread all over the worthwhile Russian countries like Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Georgia, Azerbaijan, and then Indonesia, then of course the headquarters in Houston and all these places, the African countries, Algeria, and of course the office in Chennai and my people in Kerala and all these people. So I used to communicate myself and then share my day-to-day events, wish them good morning and other things. I feel so proud and humbled that in all these 20 years, my virtual media networking today has reached a level of unbelievable magnitude for a small person like me who has no profile or portfolio to show others of my greatness. But still, my social media or the virtual media networking is so huge with Google Plus, Twitter, Facebook, pages and groups and IDs, hi-fi, and then all these medias. I now feel after 20 years, just feel that I should share a little of my biography, in fact, which is really a funny biography, to the people who really don't know me, because nearly 90% of my virtual media friends don't really know me, nor have they even seen me, but they lovingly wait for my good morning messages and all that. And so I thought today, the same day, 20 years back, when I started the virtual media, I should today give out a funny, that biographic, biograph of mine, which many of you, after hearing, would laugh and say, "What a funny guy this is." Anyway, let me start off with the day I was born in 1965, January 6th, in a place called Peck, in a state called Nagaland in India, which is in the extreme northeast of India. And why I explained a little long about the place I was born is because could be many people, or I should say 95% people on my virtual media will never know where is this place called Nagaland. And of course, they would never know where this place Peck is. So I was born in that wonderful hills, those raw hills of Peck, to a sweet couple who were teachers out there in long back. And from there, I started my journey into my life, where I am today, a small farmer, looking after my aged parents and my concerns that my lady heads, and looking after my two sweet girls. And here I am with you. So let me start off from that birth, and then I finished my early education, early schooling days in Loyola School, Jakama, which is another place in Nagaland, and then a few years in John High School, Viswama, which is almost my own, or I should say that is my village, or my home. And Kerala is actually my second home, because I even started talking my language at the age of 21, which I never knew. And so I am more of a Naga in all aspects except blood. And my children call me a Naga. Of course, I'm very proud that they call me that. Well, and then I went out when I was in class 6. I was brought back to Kerala and put up in one of the most prestigious institutions in Trivandrum, but because I knew every alphabet of my local language, that is Malayalam, I ran off back with my parents, who put me into another school, which was also a very prestigious, one of the most prestigious schools in India. And I completed my schooling, and then joined the biggest and the best college of science in the entire northeast of those days. I mean, called Science College Kohima, which is called Science College Zotsuma today. Finished my pre-university from there and joined up my engineering. But that was way back in 1984. But a boy who was a naughty but cute and loving, lovable, innocent boy, growing up with the innocent Nagas, of course, naturally became too innocent, and knowing nothing, came for engineering. And that was the time I started getting to know the real family background of my father, and I came to understand that they were landlords. See, I started hating my father for he leaving all these massive assets and all this, even leaving his government job and going off to a place called Nagaland. And then, I just thought that he I mean, he actually ruined the privileges of a landlord grandson like me in bringing me up in that place. But later on, I came to understand his honesty, his service to the society, and not because he is my father, I respect him to the highest level. And he is one person who is being respected to the highest level, not only in my entire family, but in our area in Kerala. And of course, the people of Nagaland give him and his sweet wife, my mama, high respects, which are now being converted into love to me. So we're understanding all this, and getting money from my being the eldest grandson, and being happy that their grandson is back with them. And so I used to get ample lot of money from my grandma, 1,500 to 2,000 rupees, way back in 84, 85, big money. Another 1,000 from my only auntie, That's my dad's sister, and maybe 500 from my youngest uncle and my and then scoop 1,000 or 2,000 from my grandpa's pocket. And all this was too big a money for me in those days, that I literally stopped going for engineering classes. Taking up my diner's card in way back in 1985, 84, 85, through which, I had to pay. I used to get a discount of 30% in all the star hotels and five-star hotels, which made me go to Chola Sheraton in Chennai every evening, eventually flopping and never going to the classes for engineering. Anyway, I joined my diploma in mechanical because I was too regular for my degree engineering, and started just freaking out in Chennai, and going around all the places around, because I got all the freedom. And when I was doing my diploma is the time when my sweet two Naga friends joined me up for a diploma, and they are my sweet loving buddies, Michael Murray, whom I call Mike, and another friend from that very place, very district of Wokha. Mm, and we were all staying together in the same flat. There were times there when we had no money, because we spent everything what we get from our parents. And our parents used to send a small amount of money, just 1,000 rupees a month. But for me, I used to get money from my grandparents and aunties and uncles. And one of my uncle was in Germany, so he used to send me money from there even. So this is my life. But later on, after that, I I realized that because my father is so honest and everything, I wanted to see the world, and I knew that to see the world I had to study and get on to my legs. So I started then concentrating into studies, and all the freakouts, name it. I should say, I won't be ashamed to say, name it. Any toxic, anything, and I have tried them, but never have got involved into it, except booze. Though I used to drink very substantially heavy, but never drunk. Or have I created any havoc anywhere? So these days I don't drink, and I literally don't like drinking, because I know the drawbacks of it, and I try helping the poor family people who have drunkards at their home, because I know the drawbacks of that, and I do family counseling, because I've taken a diploma in family counseling and a diploma in psychology. After my engineering, I joined up Shakal Island, and I came back. My parents said that they would retire and take retirement and come back to Kerala. And so they wanted their only son, though I have a sister, to be with them. And me being a Paka mama boy, a pure mama boy, just agreed to them and thought of coming back. But when I came back to Kerala, I didn't want to stay here. And my mama and papa very brilliantly started a wonderful home appliances, home decor, and all in our own building in a night, because they knew that if I go back, I would not come back to Kerala. Anyway, I went off with that business for some years, and because I never knew the people of Kerala, nor did I know the language well, I lost around 3.5 lakhs in the late 80s, 89, 90, 90 and all, and that was huge money in those days. Looking into that, one of my dad's closest friend, who was a minister in Nagaland, told my dad to bring me back to Nagaland, but my dad disagreed because he very well knew that there are two things. One thing is that he did not want to get any favor of putting me into a job, though the uncle who was a minister told him to put me up as his personal secretary, which is a government job, and then later on put me up to a bigger post because I was an engineer and all that. But Dad disagreed to it, and he also knew that I am very close with the Nagas, and I am a Naga by all aspects, and I had too many girlfriends around in Nagaland, so I might stick with one of them, maybe one of my loving or Agami girlfriend, and never come back to Nagaland. I mean to Kerala. He and my mother, disagreed to it. In 1992, I was married. They got me married to a wonderful Kerala girl, Malayali girl, who was a graduate, who was interested into aesthetics, and from a very big business class family around 10 kilometers from my place. A sweet lady who is my wife for the last 25 years, and we are happily together, blessed with two girls, and that's my history. Now, see, in these 20 plus years, I've gone into life which has taught me a lot of things. Now, after marriage, I left my job and I thought of settling down and becoming a farmer, a perfect farmer. So I started farming my field and other farming. I have a very heavy farming with cattle and other things. I used to look after that. My wife got pregnant, delivered. I used to look after my first daughter, look after my lady, the house, everything. But that is the time when the labor problems increased in Kerala, and I flopped in my agriculture, which made me stop the small-time agriculture and go into only plantations. And then I went into tourism, and I had tourist buses. And I used to even drive those buses for long trips for 4, 5, 6 days even, to help my drivers who come back very tired because my vehicles never used to be idle because of my contacts and because of my nature of being perfectly jolly, exactly like my name. And so people used to come and call my vehicles. But again, that was a time when the taxations increased, and I had to stop it, stop that part also. And I had a little of politics and everything, and then I thought, oh, wow, this is not a place for me, for an innocent man, or straightforward man from a place like Nagaland to do any business out here in Kerala. So I again thought of going back to my job, and so I joined back to a multinational company as the chief purchase and marketing manager of the Gulf operations, and was working there. And that was the time I started my virtual media. This is a small bit of my introduction and my bio. As things go by, I'll be telling you more of my bios, and you would feel very funny in between too. But these videos will lead to the real point of the videos and write-ups which have been coming up in the past 1-2 months, and it would lead to that scenario where I started rediscovering the people, the land, and the people I was born and bred, which I left way back in '84, of course, but then left totally in '91. So I started rediscovering that place, Nagaland, and my sweet Nagas, after a gap of 30 plus years, and that started in 2014. And virtual media, in fact, was the main factor for me to get in touch with my brothers and sisters through just one big sister of mine who is in Belgium, and then through her got in touch with her brother, that is my big brother, called Azibu Saizar. And then through that I started getting into my sweet friends out in Nagaland. And this series of video will lead to why I am so interested in the political scenario of Nagaland, and what are my discoveries, or so to say, my readings after I started rediscovering my people and my land. Thank you and good night. Watch on and be happy. Bye.